Hello class, today what we're going to be doing is the mouse follower and help box pop-up. What I did real quick was I went to box.com and got to idle game and then mouse follower with soon to be help pop-up, and that's the code right there that I'm using. And I'm also using the code from before with my images and audio and splash screen. And now I'm going to open up a little help box where I cursor over this box here. It goes and makes a pop-up, and I'm going to put it right over here. So let's get to it. So we have my code and my other code. What I want to do is I want to go over and copy specific sites, which is the mouse motion listener. I need to copy this over here. So I have mouse listener, and then I need comma mouse motion listener, which is different. Now my import statements, these three are already over here, so I don't have to worry about that. I have my image stuff, but I also have these two variables, which I'm going to change. So I'm going to copy over these two variables, and I'm going to put them right under my mouse click, and there we go. So over here, looks like we need to add the mouse motion listener into my init. So right here, and I already have the other stuff, so that doesn't matter. In my paint, it doesn't matter anything because I'm not painting anything, but I do need to get the mouse moved and my mouse dragged, and I'm going to put that down right above the stop for no in particular reason. And now this basically gets my mouse XY. So what I want to do is go into my paint, and for debug reasons, we are going to do a g.drawString, actually two of them, where I say current mouse is mouse X is colon double quote. Let's put a space in there, and we're going to add in the two variables that we need, and we want to put this at location 10, 200. And we're going to do the same thing for my Y value. We'll just replace this with Y and Y, and I'm going to bump this down 10 more. And so now when I compile and run this, we click and we have my current mouse X, mouse Y, but that doesn't give me the help. It doesn't do anything for me. It just tells me what it is. So now what we need to do is we need to go back to our code, and we need to say, okay, now that I have this, I want to put in a if statements that if I'm over these buttons, which is actually really interesting, because now all I need to do is copy my two buttons, which are right here, and I don't need the else. So inside here I'm going to say if it's in this, but I have my mouse move needs to be my mouse click, so wherever I see mouse click, I need to replace it with mouse move, and make sure you're doing Y with Y and X with X. So it's just two locations for X and two locations for Y. This if right here I'm going to delete, because when I highlight over the thing, I don't care if I can afford it or not. I just want to know when I'm highlighting over it. So I'm going to take my mouse move X and replace it with these four values. So we have one here, mouse click X, mouse click X, mouse click X, mouse click X, and then I have Y value, so Y, 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 Y. So now what these if statements say are, I don't care where I'm clicking, what I care about is when I'm highlighting over. If I'm highlighting over the button, what I want to do is I want to set a Boolean value up here, so Boolean mouse over wall button equals false initially, and I also want the same thing over the double click. Mouse over double click equals false. And I want to copy these variables down here so that when I'm inside here in my mouse moved, I just want to comment these out because I want to set these to be true. So right here equals true and equals true. And what this does is it allows me to go back into my paint, so I'm going to cut these back up here inside my paint, and inside my paint what I want to do is I want to say I need these two variables as well, so I want to create a box which goes at the end because I want this to go over everything, because this is the highest priority where the mouse is. Otherwise they'd move the mouse. So I want to do a g.fillRect of a certain XY. So I need mouse move X, comma, mouse move Y. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add 10 to both. Let's add 20. Because I hate it when the cursor is actually right on top of my cursor, because then I can't see what I'm doing. And then I want my width length, so I'm going to just put in a width of, I want a small rectangular box, so I want my width to be bigger, so 200, 100. And now I need to do everything inside here. So I'm going to do a g.setColor to be color.red. And now what I want to do is, after I do red, I want to do a black text. So now what I want to say is, I have that. Now I need to know which one is actually true. So I say if mouse over button, do this. And then I want to do if mouse over double click, do this. And now I have my two buttons, so I can delete my comments because I no longer need those. And if I'm over in the wall button, I want to say a g.drawString. And I need to make sure I use this X and this Y. I need to make sure I go down an extra 10, so I'm going to say plus 30. And I need to put in a click here to get the monies. And now I need to copy this down here. So over double click actually has two things that I want to do. Click here to upgrade your clicker. And then I also want to increase my Y value by 10 to get another setup where I want to say the cost of it. Cost of double click. This upgrade costs monies plus that variable. And then I also want to do another one where I'm saying this is how much money you have, because everyone's stupid and needs to look right here instead of actually at their money. You have this plus monies, and then I want to make sure I get my monies variable, which I think is the wall button count. Yep. My wall button count. And then I want to say you have, so then I want to say if wall button count is less than cost of the upgrade, aka if I can't afford it, I want to say you are broke, you can't buy this, sadly. Because then the user knows if they can or cannot buy the upgrade. And again, I need to move this counter down by 10. And now when I compile and run this, hopefully on my first run it'll work. So I click on here. And notice I always have a red box, so that's a pain. We want to get rid of that. And then, hey, click here to get the monies. And then right here, notice my sadly goes outside that, so I want to increase that, and also want to decrease the Y. And also I have overlapping text, so I got to change that. So let's go back and let's say only if this button or this button. Then I want to do these two things where I set the color to red and put up the box. And then otherwise I'm going to do this, and notice I have overlapping text here. Oh, you know what? I never set it to false. That's why. So down here, if I'm not on there, else, this is false. And copy pasta and change the variable. Now when I compile it, it'll work. I highlight over, it doesn't. Highlight over here, pops up. Highlight over here, pops up, no overlapping text. Now I want to fit the box better on both of these. So I want to go back and say, well, my red box that I want to do, I need to increase the width just by a little bit, and I need to decrease the length to the max length down here, which is 40. So now when I compile and run this, we're all good to go. Boom, boom. And notice the text pops down a little bit because the Y part of it pops down. So just a nitpick, I want to go back here and just make this, I'm assuming 45 would work. All done. So now we have 2 help boxes. If I wanted this to be in a static location, I can do that. I could change the font if I want to. And you can also do a length for the strings to get into that, but I'm not going to get into that. That's way too much work for what it is. And if I don't like that it's all the way to the left, what I can do, +3 here, to move the text just a little bit more over to the right. And I can also move the first one down 3 if I want to. So to make that difference, what I would go here is this right here, the Y value, I'm going to make it 17. And I'm going to increase 3 here to 8. And what that does is it just looks a lot nicer. It's all centered. And the text isn't on the edges. And that's pretty much it. There's your help pop-up boxer and mouse follower. That's it. Have a good one. I will see you later.